welcome to the U.S. Navy Band Commodores.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. To get tonight's concert started, would you please rise for the singing of our national anthem with musician first class Christine Sia.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? And now, from Washington, D.C., under the leadership of Senior Chief William Mulligan, the United States Navy Band Commodores.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are the United States Navy Band Commodores, celebrating our 49th year as the Navy's premier jazz ensemble. I'm Senior Chief Musician Bill Mulligan. We're delighted to be here with you tonight at Kennedy Center's Millennium stage. Isn't this a great, great program they have here? 365 days a year, free music at 6 o'clock each and every day of the year. We're delighted to be back. Thank you very much for joining us. You know, we're celebrating a birthday tonight. William James Count Basie was born on this date, August 21st, in Red Bank, New Jersey in 1904. And after a stint with Benny Moten's band in 1935, he formed the Count Basie Orchestra, leading that band then for the next almost 50 years until he passed away in 1984. So we'll be featuring a lot of his music. We got started with one composed by Sammy Nestico. It was recorded on an album called Basie Straight Ahead. The song was Basie Straight Ahead, recorded in 1968 in Hollywood by the Count Basie Orchestra. We featured on the tenor saxophone Master Chief Musician Philip Berlin from Baltimore, Maryland. And in the role of Count Basie throughout the evening, originally all the way from Buenos Aires, Argentina, please say hello to musician first class Dan LaMaestra. We have a lot more Basie music coming up for you. But right now we're going to turn to one of Count Basie's colleagues. The great Thad Jones actually joined the Count Basie Orchestra in 1954 and played with him until around the mid-60s. In 1966, Thad Jones, along with Mel Lewis, took a big band into the Village Vanguard, a historic jazz club on 7th Avenue up in Manhattan. And if we all went up to New York on Monday night, you can still hear that band. It's quite a musical legacy. They're now known as the Vanguard Jazz Orchestra. While he was with Count Basie, Thad Jones contributed over 24 compositions and arrangements to the Count Basie library. Right now, we'd like to do one that he wrote for his own band in 1974. This one's Thad Jones' Quiet Lady. Thad Jones, Quiet Lady. Once again, musician first class Dan LaMaestra on the piano. On the baritone saxophone, he's our musical director. He comes to us originally from McLean, Virginia. Please meet senior chief musician Rob Holmes. And back there on the trumpet, he programmed tonight's show. He rehearsed the band in preparation for this show as well. Fantastic trumpet soloist from Dundalk, Maryland, musician first class Jonathan Barnes. Right now we're going to go to Broadway, the Great White Way. And this song was originally part of a show. In 1959, it premiered on Broadway. I'm speaking of Gypsy, and the song is Everything's Coming Up Roses. The original version featured the one and only Ethel Merman. We're going to do a somewhat different version and feature senior chief musician Luis Hernandez on the tenor saxophone. Here's Everything's Coming Up Roses. Wow. Not a lot of people can do that. From Miami, Florida, that's senior chief musician Luis Hernandez. Everything's coming up roses. On the drums from Greensboro, North Carolina, please meet musician first class Kevin McDonald. Also, that arrangement was written for the Commodores by our lead trumpet. Please meet from Glendale, Arizona, musician first class Thomas Eby. While we're at it, let's introduce the rest of our brass section. Right next to him from Lafayette Parish, Louisiana, this is musician first class Tyler Meir. You've already met MU1 Jonathan Barnes. And on this end of the trumpet section from the beautiful city of Belleville, Illinois, chief musician Tim Stanley. Our lead trombonist comes from Coatesville, Pennsylvania. This is musician first class Benjamin Ford. If you would, please help us thank this next gentleman with an extra special round of applause. By day, he is the senior enlisted leader for the entire United States Navy Band, the entire command. Very, very busy man. Still comes out on the evenings to perform with us. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Master Chief Musician Jim Armstrong. From Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania, where every day's a holiday, that's Master Chief Matt Neff on the bass trombone. And right behind me on the slide trombone from Hemet, California, Chief Musician Jennifer Krupa. For those of you just joining us, we are celebrating Count Basie's birthday today, and also this next gentleman was featured on so many of those classic recordings with the Count Basie Orchestra, the featured vocalist Joe Williams. We're celebrating his centennial throughout 2018. He was born in December of 1918. We can't do a vocal from the Count Basie Orchestra from Joe Williams without featuring our own fantastic vocalist. Would you please welcome back to the stage, musician first class, Christine Sia, Every Day I Have the Blues.
Every day I have the blues. Every day, said every day I have the blues. When you see me worrying, baby, it's 'cause it's you I hate to lose. No, nobody loves me. Nobody seems to care. No, nobody loves me. No, nobody seems to care. Speaking of bad luck and trouble, well, you know, I've had my share. I'm packing up a suitcase, moving on down the line. You know I'm backing up a suitcase, moving on down the line. Well, there ain't nobody worrying, there ain't nobody crying. It seems to me every day I have the blues. Well, every day I have the blues. Well, you see me worrying, baby, 'cause I do, I hate to lose. Nobody loves me, nobody seems to care, no, nobody loves me, nobody seems to care. Speaking of bad luck and trouble, well, you know, I've had my share. Every day, Lord, every day, every single day, Lord, every day I have the blood. I'm singing, nobody loves me and nobody seems to care. No, nobody loves me, nobody seems to care. No, nobody loves me, nobody seems to care. Woo! No. You see me worrying, baby. Well, you know I've had my share. You know I've had my share of the blues every day. Thank you so much. Again, that was Every Day I Have the Blues by the Count Basie Band. Now we'd like to do for you a song from Washington, D.C.'s own Duke Ellington. The song was composed by Billy Strayhorn and Gerald Stanley Wilson, who also celebrates his centennial this year as well. So in honor of that, we'd like to do Imagine My Frustration. the dance, sat down by the wall, invited to dance, but no one at all. The couples dance by, so charming and gay, but nobody once looked over my way. I feel so sad, dissatisfied. I hurt so bad I almost cried. Imagine my frustration with no invitation to dance. I sat down by the wall. Who else can I be but bad girl of the fall, who likes what you see? And a voice said to me, "Wallflower, my dear, how come you can't see? You're not wanted here. You don't impress. You're just a mess. You're in excess and in that dress. Imagine my frustration with no invitation to dance." Here we go. I smile to the crowd, tiptoe and alert. The band blew and bowed, but next on the flirt, a voice said to me, "Wallflower, my dear, how come you can't see? You're not wanted here. No, you don't impress. You're just a mess. You're in excess and in that dress. Imagine my frustration with no invitation. My frustration with no invitation. My frustration with no invitation to dance." Thanks so much. Again, that was Imagine My Frustration featuring Senior Chief Bill Mulligan. And now I'd like to leave you with a tune from Dave Pell's Press Conference, a tribute to Lester Young. Now this song is special because it takes a Lester Young solo and harmonizes it throughout the entire saxophone section. This will feature on trombone, musician first class, Benjamin Ford, and on the bass, Senior Chief Musician, Peter Ravel. Here is When You're Smiling. When you're smiling, the whole world, it smiles with When you're laughing, that sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, stop your sighing. Come on, be happy again, keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're smiling, the whole world it smiles with you. When you're laughing, that sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, stop your sighing. Come on, be happy again, keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. Ba-do-ya-do-do, ba-do-ya-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, ba-do-ba-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Sighing. Come on, be happy, be happy, be happy again. Keep on smiling when you're smiling. The whole world smiles with you. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Isn't she great? Originally from Holbrook, which is on Long Island, New York. Once again, that's musician first class, Christine Sia. We also featured MU1 Benjamin Ford on the slide trombone. And on the double bass, that's senior chief musician Peter Revell from Boston, Massachusetts. While we're at it, let's say hello to our guitarist. He is, to this point, the first and only second-generation Commodore. His father, Randy Purcell, played trombone in the original edition of this band way back in 1969. We are so pleased that they've made it a family tradition, and he is fulfilling a vital role on all of this Count Basie music in the role of Freddie Green, strumming away every beat. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, musician first class, Sean Purcell. If you'd like to keep up with the Navy Band, all you have to do is visit our website. If you do a Google search for Navy Band, we are still the very first thing that pops up. Please do take a look at the website. Lots of free music available, lots of live performance videos from all the units of the band. In addition to the group you see here tonight, we have a great concert and ceremonial band. We have a fabulous chorale called the Sea Chanters. We have the best country and bluegrass group you'll ever hear called the Country Current, and a great Top 40 band celebrating their 10th anniversary tonight, the Cruisers. They'll be just down the road at the Navy Memorial, so please do look for that. They're at 7:30, so you can catch the end of this show and still get to that one in time. You can also follow the Navy Band on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. We love to hear from you. You can post your comments to our Facebook page. You can also send your comments to our Public Affairs office via the website, and you can sign up to receive a publication that we will mail to you directly. That is called the Fanfare. You can sign up to receive that on the website. Right now, we're returning to the Count Basie Orchestra and that 1968 album, Basie Straight Ahead, another composition from Sammy Nestico. This will feature our lead alto saxophonist from Pensacola, Florida. This is senior chief musician Steve Williams, a beautiful song entitled Lonely Street. Once again, Sammy Nestico's Lonely Street. How about a big hand for senior chief musician Steve Williams on the alto saxophone? Beautiful. Now we'd like to do a blues once again, Count Basie. This one comes from one of the two Franks who sat in the front row of that band for many, many years. On one end on the tenor saxophone, you had Frank Foster, the other end, Frank West. This comes from the pen of Frank Foster, who in fact took over leadership of the band after Count Basie passed away. Here is Frank Foster's Blues in Hoss Flat. He's just getting warmed up. Musician first class Dan LaMaestra. Plunger muted trombone of chief musician Jennifer Krupa. And once again, Chief Tim Stanley on the trumpet. I think I misspoke just a few minutes ago when I was telling you about the other units of the Navy Band, and there's an anniversary concert tonight just down the road at the Navy Memorial, and I think I said the Cruisers were celebrating their 10th anniversary. And that is incorrect, and luckily, you know, they broadcast all of these on the internet, and also they are saved forever on the Kennedy Center website. So my faux pas will live on forever. They're actually celebrating their 20th anniversary, but what's 10 years when you're having fun, right? 10 years. So now we have one more to celebrate Count Basie's birthday. Once again, for those of you just joining us in the back, we're celebrating Count Basie today, born on this date in 1904 in Red Bank, New Jersey. We'd like to finish our Count Basie portion of the evening with one recorded on a great album, recorded in 1957, called The Atomic Mr. Basie. All the compositions by Neil Hefti. This is The Kid from Red Bank. Once again, in the role of Count Basie there, that's musician first class Dan LaMaestra, the kid from Red Bank. You've been a fantastic audience. We always love to come here and play at the Millennium stage. Once again, how about a big round of applause for all the folks at the Kennedy Center who make this possible. We're delighted to be here. We look forward to coming back next time. Right now, by show of hands, where are our veterans? Thank you for your service. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'd like to close out our show the way we close all of our shows throughout the year by paying tribute to you, our veterans. We're going to play the service songs, the songs associated with each branch of the armed forces. When you hear your song, please stand up and be recognized. If you have a family member who served or is serving in that branch, please stand up as well. We'll all thank you with a round of applause. In closing, here's our Armed Forces Salute.
The United States Coast Guard. the United States Air Force. The United States Army. The United States Navy.
Thank you, veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Navy Band Commodores. Thank you very much. You've been great. We look forward to seeing you next time. Good night.
Thank you for joining us at Millennium Stage. As we prepare for another performance, we ask that you help us by heading towards the back of the seating area so we can